Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SF Live. I'm Myrna Lim, your host. Tonight we have a very special guest. He is the marketing director of the Third World Film Festival. They have been in existence for a couple of years, and so far they have featured extremely, incredibly interesting films from all over the world, and we'll have him explain it to you. Thank you. How are you, Orlando?
Very good, Myrna.
So let's talk about the Third World Film Festival. When was it conceptualized? How long it's been in existence, which you said is 2 years? Where did it start? And then we'll go into one of your clips.
Well, for one thing, the Third World Film Festival is the creation of the founder. His name is Ted Onarse and co-founded by Gracie Suzara.
Okay.
And the reason why they founded it is because they wanted to use it as a platform for the third world countries, especially for the film producers and film directors.
Okay.
Mind you, the third world in comparison to the first world are two different things. The reason why we concentrated on the third world is because we wanted them, meaning the third world producers and directors, to use us as a platform
Right.
so that they can show their films to a wider audience, because there's a distinction between the independent films and what we ordinarily think about Hollywood.
Right.
When you say Hollywood or produced by Hollywood or at a Hollywood, it is a very high budget. That's
Right.
number one. Secondly, the independent, as generally accepted today, is usually low budget.
Right.
And that's the reason why we are trying to help the film producers and directors show their films, because they don't have too much money.
Right.
They produced their films and directed their films at low budget, and they wanted to show their films to a wider audience.
Sure.
They have problems with distribution, they have problems with advertising and promotion, and this is where we come in.
Right.
We are hoping that by creating the Third World Film Festival, we will enable them to show their films to a wider audience at minimum cost.
Well, let's take a look at what you have here. This is a movie.
This film shines a spotlight on current and emerging issues in third world countries. A new awareness of what amounts to
Okay, so
injustices
this
on a
was Ted
global
Larson,
scale.
right?
Yes, he's the executive producer, and he directed it also. And the reason why
Modern Day
we
Slaves depicts the lives of overseas foreign workers who must struggle to survive. Having been trapped within the workings of corrupt political systems.
Those in control of these institutions commingled all the funds that they had.
Maltreatment, contract substitution, and prison terms are everyday occurrences in the lives of overseas foreign workers.
My brother was being tortured every Friday, and he never did anything wrong. They would do this so that he wouldn't walk. They would do something to his ears so that he couldn't hear.
From the point of view of government, story of neglect.
The World Bank estimates that in 2008, migrant workers sent home over $283 billion to their home countries. The story of OFWs is one of extreme sacrifice.
These workers have been branded or proclaimed by government as our unsung heroes or heroines. We would say they have become modern-day slaves.
This timely film hopefully will summon a wake-up call among American citizens and leaders of the free world,
to fight oppression,
prompting them to take actions necessary for the protection of our enduring prosperity.
Kailangan natin ang pagbabago kung kailangan sumigaw ng revolusyon ang mga uring pinagsasamantalahan.
This is already shown, right? It has
yes.
been airing?
Yeah, it has aired in several film festivals, wherein it has already won several international awards.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And now we are trying to show it after we make contacts with civic organizations
Right,
to
right.
show it to them. And the purpose of the film is to spread awareness about such a problem that exists, but we all know, we talk about it, and we sweep it under the rug.
Right,
There is a
right.
problem called human trafficking.
Right.
And so we wanted to use this as a tool to spread the word. Okay, now let me link that to what we are going to have to this year,
Right.
the so-called Third World Independent Film Festival.
Right.
Okay, many of the films that we have received last year and also this year now are all dealing with third world issues
Right.
in the areas of socio-economic issues like human trafficking, abuses, rape, injustices,
Right.
and so on and so forth. That's why the films that you will see, that's why we invite you, Myrna, to come and interview them, interview the film directors and producers
Sure.
at that time.
Right.
Once you see the films, you will be amazed that the issues that they discuss are, of course, locally, local, as well as international. What I mean by that is, there's a film that we saw last year, and also I think they're going to show it again this year.
Right.
Nigeria. They talk about with midwifery, and they have problems with that in Nigeria. They need help.
Right.
And the same thing will happen not only in Nigeria but in other countries. Okay, so what we are saying is the issues that the independent film festivals independent films
Right.
have are all about social issues, social justice, and we want to spread the word.
Okay, like for instance, this particular movie, it's quite interesting because it talks about the abuses of the overseas workers.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about this film a little bit. There are how many hundreds of thousands of Filipinos are overseas working in different countries like Saudi Arabia.
6 million.
6 million people.
Right. And then that's the reported OFW, but the unreported, which you already know exists, is over 12 million. or even
God.
higher.
And
So we
what
have-
countries are mostly
where the
where
OFW
they
work?
are? Right.
Saudi Arabia, primarily the Middle East,
Right.
Hong Kong, of course China, and of course
Singapore.
China, United States,
Right.
and some in Europe. Okay, and the reason why we have this OFW, I call it migration, is because
Right.
there's no job in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And so, in defense of the Philippine government, they're trying their best, but it's not enough today, especially in today's economy. It's not enough. We need more spending by the government for infrastructure to make sure that there are jobs, so that our professionals will not go out of the country to
Right.
look for jobs. They will stay in the country. Okay,
Right.
if that is happening in the Philippines, it is also happening in the other third world countries.
Right.
And so, and mind you, Myrna, the same problems is now happening also in the United States.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're
Exactly.
hoping that with this particular media, as well as this propaganda that we're trying to generate, or we call it movement,
Right.
we're hoping that it will spread. Okay, I personally have already talked with Congressman woman Jackie
Right.
Spear, and so we have gotten their support, and they need help.
Mm-hmm.
So here in America, did you know that human trafficking exists also?
No, enlighten me.
Yeah.
Enlighten us, please.
I attended back in May
You mean
2000.
you're talking about Americans? who go
Americans.
overseas?
Americans.
Well, I've read some statistics about that and some stories about that. The fact that unemployment in America has reached such an incredible proportion unknown in history because of
Yes.
our political leaders do not want to acknowledge it's the second greatest depression. They call it recession, but whatever they call it, the fact
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it's
well,
never happened before.
Yeah.
Only compared to the Great Depression. So, anyway,
So I attended a seminar. My wife and I attended back in May of last year, which was hosted by Congresswoman Jackie Spear
right,
and her staff. And Lieutenant John Vanek, who is reputed as the SAR or the guru expert on human trafficking,
Right.
stated back then the reported cases of human trafficking involving Americans, Indians, Chinese, and all the other races, okay, were 2,000 only per year. However,
I think so.
today, the United Nations are saying it's more than 200,000 or even 2 million or even
course.
higher. I mean, human trafficking exists because people
Are looking for work.
looking for work.
Basically,
And
yes,
if they are
definitely.
promised work,
Yeah,
and then in having good faith in what the person or the employer say that they are going to provide them jobs,
right.
then they go in there, then all of a sudden they find themselves slaves.
Sure, yeah,
And it's just unfortunate that many of the people who do that are the same people, let's say from India. They would do those things to Indian. And did you know that 70% of the victims are women and children? That's why it really boils me.
I didn't know they could bring their children to work though.
No. The children, when they go in, they they lock them up, and then they do domestic chores.
Right,
That's it.
right.
They are indebted to them for the rest of
Right.
their lives unless something happens. That's the reason why we're trying to spread the word.
Right,
Okay, use our films. Use the films of the other third world countries
right,
to educate yourselves, and maybe we can do something.
right.
To me, to us, talking about it is the best answer today.
Sure, right,
And then when all of us are professionals, all of us are intelligent,
right,
and if we can discuss that somehow, come on, we can come up with solutions.
right, right.
And I believe that sincerely. And Ted, as good as he is, he's a humanitarian. His heart,
He has been a director and a producer in the Philippines for a long time, right?
no.
No.
Ted has jumped into the filmmaking only 5 years ago.
Oh, interesting.
And he learned from hard work. He was able to learn the ropes. Okay, he can edit, he can direct, he can produce, and he can all of these sound effects and all this cinematography that is required in the filmmaking. He did all of that together with Gracie. And so, bless their heart. They are good hard workers, and they're good bosses. And so, they have their heart in the right places.
Right,
Yeah, so
right.
they want to help. And so if we can do that, capitalize on their goodness and we spread the word. And that's the first one, the modern day slaves. The second one is Lines of Tribe. Okay, so that's another story that it will take
All right,
another
yeah. So is that another film, another documentary?
Another
Okay, and what
documentary.
is it about?
It's about interracial marriages.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that sounds
And so
tricky.
that's a very powerful issue
Well, I
affecting
mean,
everybody now.
that seems to be so normal now, interracial
True,
marriages.
but did you know that back in 1960s
Yeah, it's
it
not
was
allowed.
illegal, and now that's gone, and the population. I think it's a sociology professor said, at that time it was only less than 1% of the
Right.
total population. Now it has increased to 7% of the total population. So you're correct. It's going more and more
Right.
spread today. Okay. However, there are many things to watch out. Religious aspects,
Right, right.
cultural aspects, children, okay, social issues.
Right.
Okay, so hopefully we're hoping that through this film it will again educate people and start thinking. We're not saying it's bad.
Right.
We're saying it's okay because we all are human beings. We get married to whoever we love, correct?
Right.
And so that's the way to do it.
Okay, the films you've shown, I was going through your website, are not just about the Philippines, though, right? You have
Yes.
had shown some films from India and
Yes.
Bangladesh. You have Bangladesh. Yeah.
Then we have from Brazil.
Right.
From Peru, then Nigeria, Iran, and then we got the Mumbai connection from India, several movies from India. And so it's really fun receiving all of this. And then Gracie is very astute in trying to select from this, because we get over 100 films applicants.
Really?
Applications last year.
Wow.
And so out of that, since we can only show, this being our first year, we can only show 30 films for 3 days. Now, we were able to get a contract with Century 20 Theater in Milpitas. So, we're hoping to show 40 films, or maybe 45 films.
That's great, yeah.
So, slowly, just like CineQuest, who had been in existence for 25 years.
Right.
Okay, this is our second year and second attempt to create a film festival. And we're happy we're doing it. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's great. Now, how did you communicate with the other filmmakers from other countries?
Through the internet.
Oh. Excellent.
And so, now that we have gotten our baby steps, okay, so we're a little bit more clever.
Right.
And so we have spread the word, again through the internet, word of mouth, and a little flyer here and there, and some newspapers. Okay, so we have spread the word. So we are hoping that we can encourage and invite civic organizations like Kiwanis, Rotarians, Lions Club, to help us spread the word, because this is not only for us. It's never intended for us.
Right.
It's intended for the third world independent film directors and producers.
I mean, it's an excellent idea when people are able to use the media and culture to be able to communicate messages, to communicate issues that otherwise the mainstream media does not cover. You know, because when you watch television now, what do you see? I mean, you know, I don't watch television, but people talk about Kardashians. It's like, okay, what do they do? I mean, it's good to be able to finally wake up and say, okay, we need something that'll stimulate us intellectually, or something that's grounded on real lives, instead of this caricatures of what, I don't know what they are, a joke or
well,
you know, it's to make people forget, you know.
I don't know.
It's called dumbing down of Americans.
Yeah, with Hollywood, with the different genres of films that they have, it's primarily fictional. Okay, very few are dedicated to documentary, factual movies.
Now, is that what you're showing, mainly documentaries, or you are also showing films, all right?
We are also showing films. Yeah,
now,
that's
the
why
Philippines have tons of movies. They crank out movies like every 2 months or something. But my sisters love Filipino movies. But
they make you laugh, right?
Either they make you laugh, or it's one of those heavy-duty drama. And you know where it's going to start, and you know how it's going to end. You know, the crying and the screaming, and that's probably, I'm probably being harsh, but that's kind of what I've seen so far.
That's why we're trying to educate our Filipino people, as well as the other races, that there's such a thing like be a good Samaritan. When a human being from another country asked for help, is it not we all belong to the humankind?
We all belong to the human race.
Human race. And so, can we not at least stop what we're doing and help? Okay, and the best way is through education. Start with the people, with the kids, and if they're educated properly, they will do well, hopefully, as good citizens of any society. So when they are grounded with good values, it doesn't have to be Christian. Buddhism, Confucianism, Protestantism, and so on. We all share the same values anyway. Okay, it's if we can do that, help one another, why can we not educate each other? Okay, and see our film. Enjoy the film, because it's really, some of them are funny,
Right.
Okay, and some of them
You
are
also have
serious.
awards, though, right? You also
Oh yes,
have
yeah. In fact, the film of Sharon Stone, Invocation, was shown last year, and it
Right.
won the best, I think, entrepreneurs award.
Oh.
Yeah, Sharon Stone did not come, but she sent her greetings to and warm regards to Ted and the film producers, and
Right.
so
Right.
we're hoping that she will become our spokesperson for this film festival number 2. Yeah, so
That's great. That's excellent. And you're getting a lot. How are you doing this? You're getting sponsors to.
yes, yeah. We again, it is in our website. If our people will want to sponsor, we do need
Right,
sponsors
yeah.
because we don't have deep pockets. Okay,
Yeah.
but we're trying our best
Right.
to make ends meet, and we are
No, it's
surviving.
great. I mean, it's uplifting when people try to do something.
I know, yeah.
No matter how small it is, it's like little baby steps. But that's how things get started, and it's very impressive to do that. So this organization you put together, how big is it?
We need a lot of volunteers still.
Yeah.
Okay, but the staff itself is just minimal.
Okay, so what's your website? We're running out of time. It's called.
It's called Third World Indie Film Festival.com.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Third World Indie Film Fest.com.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it's been a pleasure having you, and say congratulations to Ted and Gracie for a job well done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we'll see you again next time. And their film is a good cause. Thank you. Good night.